Music clips are like a modern performance art that you can't really capture in any other format. It's a really visual expression and emotional expression. It's to me the last creative frontier, given that there are so many commercial constraints on music and the film industry today. It seems to be a place where you can still get a really short narrative moment.
I did what I had to do, 'cause God told me.
The way I write a lot of songs is imagining a character in a particular situation. That's often how they start. So the song starts with some kind of voice. God told me to, that's exactly how it started. There was a music for that song long before I had lyrics, but the music suggested this kind of ranting, crazed voice. So the lyrics came along to fit the music. I had a pretty strong idea of, you know, if you made a film with this song, you know, what you could do. I mean, I had one simple idea, which was, I want this guy to be ranting, sort of preaching in a room or in a space somewhere, and for the space or the room to be slowly filling up with blood. I spoke to a few other people about that idea, and it was sort of, you know, I wasn't getting much reaction back to, that's going to be really hard, that's really technical, that's going to be too hard. And some other directors submitted other ideas and so on, but I was pretty keen on this idea. And then Natasha Pincus was suggested to me as a director, and I spoke to her about it. And the first thing she said was just, you know, no idea is too hard. I
came up with a series of concepts for Paul that were completely different to this concept. And he said, yeah, I like that one, I like this one, but you know what, Tash, it's just, I keep seeing blood and this guy, and I don't know why and what and how it's going to work. I'll leave that with you. That's when I then changed my process, and I really read a lot about the song, and I went and did a lot of research about what was he trying to communicate specifically in the song, because there's an emotional or instinctive urge behind the creative process, but then there's also a rational, logical one. And this seems quite calculated. The song is trying to specifically communicate to the audience that line between heroism and villainism, between good and evil, and asking certain questions that we really don't globally know the answer to. So putting all that together, I came up with this execution chamber that was filling with blood. So I brought in that blood motif and the narrative, and then developed a shot design that would allow the audience the best emotional experience of that, bringing in intrigue and changing the emotional journey through the song. In a one-shot clip, especially when the shot is continually moving and retreating, the edit points, I guess, or the narrative beats occur in camera. So the way that you can achieve any dynamism at all is by revealing certain things at certain key moments.
The whole structure of the clip, where it starts tight and moves out, and you gradually see it's just someone singing. He seems pretty intense. Pulls out, oh, there's a rope. You can see there's a rope on him. What's happening there? Oh, he's tied up. And then it pulls out through the booth, and you see, oh, he's trapped. He's inside something. He's encaged. He's behind a glass. So that was a real lesson for me in filmmaking.
So let's dial in a little bit then, please.
It was an incredibly involved shoot. We actually spent a full day of camera rehearsals, but because we shot on film, and film's very expensive, and we only had a certain number of takes to really achieve what we wanted to, I spent a lot of the time in pre-production and in the rehearsal, making sure that by the time we got Paul in there and in the tank in really uncomfortable conditions, that everything else was just ready to go.
I was kneeling in blood. I was sloshing in blood. I was fighting against the ropes. And then the music is pretty intense. So you have to sing it. You can't just sort of, again, you can't just lip sync. You have to properly deliver it. So I was just exhausted at the end of the day.
I go 5, I count out 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15, 20, 25, 30. At 37 seconds, I start dolling and you should be at 68 mil.
The opening shot is that small, and to make it physically real for you, the camera was here on him, and every time the camera moved back, the focus had to readjust. So as the camera got further back, he could move, but at the beginning he had to generate all that emotion and sing and move just like that. He couldn't actually breathe even without getting out of focus and getting out of frame.
You know, singing is a form of acting, and as I was saying before, a lot of my songs, I'm imagining a character in a particular situation, and I sing the song from there. So that's very similar to what an actor does. So I don't think a lot of the times when I'm singing songs, I'm not sort of thinking that it's me singing, or I don't feel it's some kind of self-expression. And I don't have messages in my songs. Like I said, the songs take care of themselves. They run away from you anyway.
It was really hard because I worked with Kevin really closely on designing something that would not emotionally read as anything specific. If you put him in a suit, you're saying something. If you put him in a t-shirt, you're saying something. And it was supposed to be as abstract as possible, as stripped down, so that it was really just the emotion and the narrative, you know, that of this particular person in this. Doesn't matter where he is, doesn't matter who he is, where he's come from.
The character could be, you know, it could be a suicide bomber. He could be, you know, David Koresh at Waco, Texas. It could be President of the United States. So some of the language of that song is straight, you know, is around the time of the Iraq War. It was anyone who opposed that war was seen, you know, here as well as in the States as being unpatriotic. It's either them or us. Are you with, you know, those not with me are against me. That's just quoted. That's just taken straight from the newspaper. So that all comes into the song. I mean, you know, I wrote that song because I was just interested in the language of people on both sides of the religious, religious divide, using exactly the same language.
The question which we're asking in the clip could be adapted to many contexts. You know, the idea of you think you're doing something for a good purpose, you believe in what you're doing, but really it's having negative ramifications on everyone else.
I remember on the day Natasha was saying, you know, we want to feel sympathy, we want to feel some empathy for this character, even despite, you know, the implication of some of the terrible things he's saying. He's, you know, obviously he's the way, you know, the film clip says he's been tried and punished in some way. I don't quite know whether people are going to be empathetic with that or think the guy's, you know, this guy's a raving lunatic, and I hope the blood keeps filling up. But you don't, yeah, I guess you're not quite sure. You just sort of in the end it just becomes sort of heart and muscle and breath, and you let everything else just take care of itself.
God told me to. I answer not to them or you. 'Cause God told me to. Seven